So we'll continue with stages of progress from Silent Speaks. Central region. I have mentioned in Efficacy of Raj Yoga about the wonderful research by my Guru that a man can reach the central region while having a body. When a man reaches central region, a bondage is kept so that he may have connection with the lower regions also. If this bondage be not kept, the soul will jump into eternal peace and life will be gone. It is therefore necessary that one must feel the air of the lower regions at times. This will be the condition of even the highest saint of the world, if he somehow reaches this central region. Of course, at the highest pitch of negation, the shock is very slightly felt. One always finds room for advancement at every stage. When everything is all right and one is charged fully with divine power, swimming in the central region commences, but only after crossing the rings of light. To start the swimming, the help of a very high power is needed. We'll take a pause here. Gradual advancement. According to the great teachings of my Guru, every pore of the body has its own center of energy and is itself a continent. Whatever is in the universe with its planetary system is found there in it. They all must come to their full state of awakening. I sincerely pray that all my associates may come to that stage, and that God may give me a chance to render such a service. It is a moment's work for my master and for him alone, but who is prepared to grasp such power at a glance? But who is prepared to grasp such power at a glance? I'm trying and trying that my associates may have the capacity to bear this divine power. So we adhere to the process of gradual advancement. Master, a condition. For myself, I can say that I do not feel the grace at all, though it is always there. I feel it only when I take up duality for some good reason, and that is mostly when I feel something tending to descend from the divine. It is a peculiar state for which I do not find words to express. Adityavarnam Tamasah Parastat. I express the meaning of Adityavarnam Tamasah Parastat according to my poor ability. In chapter 8, Shloka 9 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has described the effulgent form of the ultimate reality, which is the object of all upasana. This is also the point of all beginning, as the word Adi in Adityavarnam suggests. But beyond it lies the still finer region of reality, which the Lord has described in slokas 20 and 21 of the same chapter. This is the region beyond all beginning, where even upasana, in the ordinarily comprehensible sense of the term, has come to an end. As it may be dangerous to speak of the end of upasana before those who have not yet tasted the condition in a natural way. The Adityavarnam may advantageously be described to them as the ultimate condition. Changeless state. No doubt, a person in changeless state is disturbed by the worldly environment. This is due to the fact that the bondage of humanity must remain, of course, in mild form, to prevent a man from jumping thoroughly into eternity. This is one thing which often occurs with the men of higher caliber. Whenever a thought comes, he begins to think it with full force, with the result that its intensity becomes greater. Really, we should apply our thinking only to the extent that is needed for the work. Anxiety creeps in because the burden of family lies on our shoulders. But whenever we feel that the anxiety has gone out of bounds, we should drop it for the time being. This is the practical hints. We should apply our thinking only to the extent that is needed for the work. We'll go ahead. Sensitivity. Sometimes the abhyasis feel the very high states because the grace comes from above through the teacher. It also happens that the teacher, even unknowingly, transmits from very high states, and the sensitive abhyasis feel that effect. Buffer states. Dear brother, I say verily that I have suffered so much burning during the period of my abhyas that there have been all burns in my breast, but those have become flower beds and fire flowers. I have crossed the field of spirituality by selling away peace. That is, I have made the sacrifice of peace to attain it. And God knows how many barzaks, the intermediate places, there are where one has to go on stopping in order to proceed further. I have also written a letter regarding the barzaks, buffer states, which you ought to study. I do not remember its content much. And dear brother, when one comes to have the experience that the real spiritual benefit can be had from a particular person, he should entrust himself to him. Here, as we have to attain liberation in one life only, we have to get rid of all the sanskaras by undergoing the bhoga experience of same and by frying away the remaining. A sequence had descended upon Sri X, of which I was conscious, but there was also other causes besides this, which I wanted to ask him so that he could also have the experience. I had to purify them off by praying to Master pretty early to satisfy him. Otherwise, I wanted to keep them there for his own betterment. Anyway, you please pray that no such thing may creep in future. I will go ahead. Purification, time taken. It takes me many months to purify the system. This is the reason why Sri X could not feel much. This purification is absolutely essential in the making of a man, and my attention always turns towards this. And this verily is the command of revered Lalaji also. Sri Vai was purer by nature, hence he felt the benefit very soon. Anyone wants to say anything? Ultimate stage condition. If I write the condition of the ultimate stage, the scientist may possibly pounce upon me. It is extremely difficult to express the ultimate limit, but I shall write this as this much anyway. When the Abhyasi forgets himself as well as God, then it can be considered that he can never come in this world again in any form. In such a condition, he shall remain drowned in such an ocean that there is nothing except that for him. Prior to it, he would have sold away his world for the sake of other world. Now he could sell away even the other world. The reality alone remains. Changeless condition. It is better for the dervish to be on the move. You have got nowhere to stay. Your ultimate stage is only there, and before reaching it, even Anand bids farewell. And what would be the condition there? If it is called ignorance, even that too will part company. There is one word which does throw light upon it, and that is perfect ignorance, agyanta. I have called it the changeless condition. This verily is the real veil. Spirituality has anyway dropped off. This might be called the quintessence of all labor and effort. So, dear brother, this is the very thing which people had never desired. Otherwise, this could have already been had. And who could wish for it when nobody had any idea of it? Thanks are due to my Guru Maharaj, who has brought it to the notice of the people. Now you may take the term perfect ignorance in the sense that it is that which exists between yes and no. This, according to Kabir, well, now I will come to the point. Real bliss is that in which there is no bliss. So long as there is the sensation of bliss, there is Maya, materiality, included in it. Now, when you are describing your condition of bliss as heavy, it proves that you are link connected with the center or kendra of ignorance, and it is due to limitation. It would be more proper if you describe it as boredom instead of heaviness. Boredom means that you require pleasant and light air as you are now proceeding higher in higher altitude. Peace will never be dull. I have given the reason above. Only such a one will like it whose one eye is damaged instead of both. If by some fortunate chance a man living in a hut gets a good and comfortable house, he likes it very much. But when he gets habituated to it after living there for a long time, he will begin to think of a house even better than that. This illustration is to show why you are feeling boredom and dullness. You have written, I feel that my mind's tendency is to get out of this condition. Hence, either my mind is not yet prepared or those are not the real conditions of peace and bliss. The natural property or power of mind is to feel the good thing. It may be either material or spiritual. Hence, however, whatever comes before its view gets attached with it, whether it be peace or bliss. Take a pause. Approach into the 17th circle will of a teacher. However high an approach a saint may have attained, humanity, which itself is a limitation, still remains. Kabir says people are afraid of death, but how I wish to die so that I may have the complete divine bliss. Purna Brahman. A Persian poet says, sometimes I'm enthroned in the ninth heaven, and sometimes I'm lower than even my foot. If this limitation or bond is broken up, the spirit flies away, leaving the mortal human body. Therefore, the gurus do not touch it. One of the many discoveries which our Lalaji has made is the 16 circles which have been shown in the diagram in reality at dawn, beyond which none except my Guru Maharaj or one whom he has graced could go till now. When anyone brings the happy news of his approach into the 17th circle, it becomes the duty of the teacher to create a bondage there so that the soul may not fly away into its origin. I wish people to bring to me the glad news of having secured their approach up to this in my own lifetime. But all this is in the hands of God. No worship, no practice can ever help in going beyond this. Only the will of a teacher who has secured his approach up to this can help in proceeding on this journey. Take a pause. State of negation. A person who is in the state of negation should automatically become sorrowful when he sees the sorrow of others and delighted by seeing the delight of others. But this should be only superficial, and afterwards he should revert again to his as he is condition. I wish you all to acquire during my lifetime the highest approach beyond, or at least the state of thorough negation. The final state or perfect ignorance or agyanta is a changeless condition. It is that which exists between yes and no. highest possible approach. The position nearmost to the position nearmost to the center is the highest possible approach of man. A man can reach the central region while having a body. When he reaches so, a bondage is kept so that he may have connections with the lower regions also. If this bondage is not kept, the soul will jump into eternal peace and life will be extinct. Tam. Generally, people consider such to be reality and treat it as a yardstick for measuring the knowledge of God. In fact, it is all the sphere of Tam and Tam alone. This is the only thing worth achieving for a true yogi. There is nothing beyond Tam. Heart, mind, and central regions. In the vast area of infinity, there are three regions, namely the heart region, the mind region, and the central region. I've tried to express these by a diagram of 23 concentric circles, where the first 5 circles represent the stages of Maya, the next 11 circles represent the stages of egoism, and the last 7 circles as rings of splendor situated in the central region. The core is the center itself. I have also covered these regions as a spiritual journey through the 13 principal knots or granthis and much beyond. Go ahead. Final state. We have to arrive finally at a state where it can rightly be presumed that God does not move till moved by the devotee. When we enter this ultimate state, we are in a state of oneness. Ignorance in its refined state will lead us on to the final state. Forms of Samadhi. There are 3 forms of Samadhi or the stages of concentration. The first of these is wherein a man feels lost or drowned. His senses, feelings, and emotions are temporarily suspended in a way that they seem apparently dead for the time being. He resembles a man in dead slumber, unconscious of everything. The second form is in which a man, though deeply concentrated at one point, does not feel actually drowned in it. It may be described as a state of consciousness within an unconscious state. Apparently, he is not conscious of anything, but still consciousness is present within, though only a shadowy form. In a, though only in a shadowy form. In his state of unconscious, he unknowingly attends to these necessities and acts as occasion demands. It is consciousness in an unconscious state. The third form is Sat Samadhi. This is the finest type of concentration. In this state, a man is busy with his work, his mind being absorbed in it, but in the innermost core of his heart, he is still settled on the real thing. With his conscious mind, he is busy with his external work, while at the same time, his subconscious mind is busy with divine thoughts. He is all the while in a state of samadhi, although apparently he is busy with his worldly works. This is the highest form of samadhi, and little remains to be done after a man has entered this state permanently. I think this covers the stages of progress. Anything want to discuss?
Nothing more.
Since this is a logical end of this, right, and then the next chapter starts, then I think we can stop here today.